Welcome to HR Summit, the first day, and I'm privileged to kick off the first Power Talk session. But round of applause to HRM Asia for putting together another awesome event this year. HRM Asia, thank you very much. Today I would like to address the topic of future of work, skills and learning. And you can already guess that technology will be quite a big part of everything I'm going to talk about. This picture here was taken at the Art Science Museum when they had the light show. And that is LED lights dripping from the ceiling, but the lighting is coordinated with computers to send lights through entire space. And even art is now starting to use technology. So, as a first cut, let me ask you a question. How strong do you think your company is, or your companies are, in the following skills? Complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, people management, emotional intelligence, and service orientation. And so in line with the use of technology, if I could get your help to whip out your mobile phones, we're going to do a quick poll of how strong you think your companies are in these 6 skills. The main average of 49 responses now, 5.5. You are rating your companies on average across all 6 skills that your companies are only a 5.5 out of 10 in these 6 skills. The strongest one is that service orientation is at 6.4. That's great. And the next, well, all the rest are not much difference, right? Emotional intelligence, people management, creativity, critical thinking, complex problem solving. These 6 are part of the top 10 skills that the World Economic Forum has identified as top skills we need for 2020 to survive this fast-changing world. All right? And what this tells me, or what you are saying to all of us here listening, is that for Singapore and for Singapore companies, we have a long way to go. There are 3 mega shifts that have happened across the past 20 years. The first one is obviously analog to digital. When things get digitized, when assets get digitized, when processes get digitalized, there's a difference. When that happens, things can happen in a different way. A new business model can be generated. Secondly, ownership to consumption. We no longer need to own things. We just consume on demand. Now, the third mega shift that is happening, and I'm sure all of us have experienced it in one way or another, is sharing, collaboration, and platform technologies. So, what do we do for this volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world? Forbes and the World Economic Forum likes to call it the 4th Industrial Revolution. And basically, the World Economic Forum last year released the Future of Jobs report. And in that Future of Jobs report, they say there's 10 technological drivers of change. So just in the category of technology, these 10. And we are already starting to feel the pressure of a lot of them. Crowdsourcing is very big now. And now we're starting to look at autonomous, machine learning, artificial intelligence. I looked through the internet for all these kind of reports that talk about how many jobs will disappear in the next how many years. Everyone gives a different answer, so I've given you an average, easy to think about. The reports kind of say by 2021, 5 to 6%, by 2035, 40 to 45%, and by 2050, 50 to 60% of the jobs we know today would be changed or disappear. But I think most jobs won't be totally disappear. Most jobs will be affected by technology. Some part of the job can be taken over by robots. So a percentage of my job or a percentage of your job could be done by a machine, correct? Not necessarily the whole job. And Times Magazine and McKinsey has come up with this great website. You can key in the job type and it will kind of estimate for you what percentage of your job can be taken over or done by a robot. Okay, so I keyed in office administrator to see what it looks like, right? And this was the results. 72% of an office administrator's job can be done by a robot. And only 25% of the job is safe. The work trends for the future by the World Economic Forum says that work will be increasingly collaborative. We have to work together across departments, across companies, partnership, upstream, downstream, lateral partnership. We have to be transdisciplinary, not stay within our disciplines, but cross-disciplines. We have to solve complex problems in creative ways. So, the mindset we need for the future economy in this VUCA world, let me paint two versions. One for the individual, you and I as individuals, and one for the companies represented here. Firstly, for individuals, this is the top 10 list that the World Economic Forum says are the skills, the soft skills needed for 2020. So in the poll you did earlier, I pulled out 6 of these top 10. You can find this report online. Looking at these skills, firstly, I think what we realize is that technical skills are going to be more and more easily outdated. Some technical skills, which means you could learn a certain technical skill, but very quickly it could be outdated, the knowledge, and you have to relearn in order to stay in the game, to stay employed, or to be able to operate in this new world, right? However, for core skills or soft skills, those are the skills that are longer lasting and transferable across industries. So for the core skills and soft skills, firstly, at the personal level, you have a certain level of skill. So when you first start as a working adult, resilience, creativity, adaptability, you move up, so you start working in teams, so you need relational skills. And then as you become more senior, you become a manager, you need management skills. And then right at the top, you need leadership skills. To lead an organization, to lead a large group of people, to manage processes, to manage finances, to manage strategy. But backing all of that up is the ability to constantly learn. How do we, therefore, future-proof ourselves as individuals? Firstly, we have to learn broad. You need the breadth of learning across different domains, because more and more your new ideas are going to come from the fact that you know you have certain knowledge of different domains. If you stay within one domain, it's probably been done, tested, and thought about. But if you can pull knowledge from various domains, that's where you can create. This is what computers cannot do yet. So you need to learn broad. That allows us to synthesize new value. It allows us to be creative, to problem solve, and to innovate. So apart from breadth, we also need to learn deep. When we go deep, we master a certain area, we master a certain skill, we create also new value. You deepen our knowledge, we get an agility of application, which means for that domain area, I'm very agile. I know how to fit it to this model, I know how to fit it for this problem, I know how to use this knowledge to help this company or that company do certain things, if you are skilled. And lastly, of course, you master the skill, and that's where you and I become valuable, if you can master skills. So learning, I think, is going to be the key for us as individuals to survive, no matter which domain you're operating in. For companies, in Forbes, October, 23rd October last year, this article appeared, Strategy Planning is Dead, and what they said, what the writer said is there's 3 abilities companies need. Build a great team and a sustainable culture, agility to pivot, and be creative with multiple capacities. Find people who are creative that have multiple capacities. The first one, build a great team and a sustainable culture, talks about building a culture of trust. The second 2, agility and creativity and multiple capacities, talk about building a culture of learning within the company. Stephen Covey says, things flow at the speed of trust. So if there's no trust in an organization, it's very hard for things to flow. So firstly, if we as companies can build a culture of trust in our organizations, we will develop happy people and strong teams. People who enjoy working together, regardless of the domain, regardless if the work changed, regardless if the strategy changed. And if we can build a culture of learning within an organization, that's where the organization becomes adaptable, innovative. And with these 2 put together, I think we can build resilient companies. So, culture of trust and culture of learning for resilient companies. For ROHEI, we say that the 5 ways to build a culture of trust: number 1, create an emotionally safe environment. Number 2, be relatable. So that's what we call the relatable traits. Number 3, be intentional in giving and receiving feedback. Number 4, desire that everyone flourishes in their lanes. And number 5, live the shared values and leadership service. So we've come to distill the 5 ways we think to build a culture of trust, and we're still working on it. You can download a mini ebook from our website to elaborate on these 5 ways to build a culture of trust.